Good day. This is Brother Medina for Tuesday, Seventh-day Adventist. And please let us start with a word of prayer. Gracious, loving Father, be with us as we enter into your word. Bless everyone that listens and help them to gain some special understanding of the latest of time and that your coming is soon. These mercies we ask of you through the truths of Jesus Christ, the plan of salvation. Amen. Well, we want to continue our discussion from last week, which deals with the attack upon Illuminism. We are dealing with the Illuminati, commonly known as the King of the South in the Bible, or the scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit. These terms are used in the Bible to identify a power that is atheistic in the sense that it denies Yahweh and Christianity, but has all forms of spiritualistic corruptions and immorality. This power is made up of a large amount of monetary people, international bankers, politicians funded by these bankers, a lot of institutions that are used by these bankers like the IMF, like the World Bank, like the Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland, and a whole range of financial organizations, all controlled by these people, and they have been using this to create what we call the New World Order. And this New World Order is called globalism today. They have a whole range of plans to enforce globalism. And this is called the King of the South in the Bible. Here is what we are told in Daniel chapter 11 and verse 40. Let's read this all over again like we did last week. I quote, "And at the time of the end," now in the Bible the time of the end started in 1798, which is the end of the 1260 years. That would start in 538 ACB after Christ's birth and end in 1798 ACB after Christ's birth. So 1798 is when the time of the end began. So we are dealing with a power that by 1798 was doing a lot of wrong, was so strong that it could have attacked the papacy, attacked religion, influenced governments upon the face of the earth, and it was this power that created the French Revolution. Yes, my dear people, in 1798 the French Revolution started with the Jacobins, and that club, the Jacobin Club, was controlled by the secret order called the Illuminati that had infiltrated a whole set of lodges, and out of the lodges came revolution, and that revolution was to bring about a new world order. This Illuminati was founded by Adam Weishaupt, who was in the pay of the Rothschild family at that point in time. They used their money to fund Adam Weishaupt to found the Illuminati. The aim was to overthrow Christianity and overthrow monarchies and set up a one-world socialist state. This same French Revolution that started was started by the Illuminati using the Jacobin Club. The French Revolution had two phases: the Jacobin phase and the Napoleon phase, until Napoleon turned against them. Now this power was known as the King of the South. Why the King of the South? Here is what we are told in Daniel chapter 11, verse 40 again. "And at that time, and at the time of the end, shall the King of the South push at him." Notice he's pushing at a him. Let's see who that him is. "And the King of the North shall come against him," the King of the South that is, "like a whirlwind, with chariots, and with horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. End of quote. So what do we see here? We see in 1798, at the time of the end, the king of the south pushed against him, the king of the north. The king of the north is the papal church government, the papacy. Yes, my dear people, how do we know that? Because Alexander the Great had a great empire. His empire stretched from India way across to Greece. But when Alexander died, his empire broke up into 4 divisions by his 4 generals. Eventually, those 4 empires became 2 empires. The Seleucid Empire in the north and the Ptolemaic Empire in the south. The Seleucid Empire was centered in Syria. The Ptolemaic Empire was centered in Egypt. Israel, the state of Israel or Judah, was in the middle. So, north of Judah was called the king of the north, and south of Judah was called the king of the south. And so there were constant battles between the king of the north and the king of the south as they sought territory from each other to create back Alexander's great empire. And they were in constant warfare. Many of this is identified in Daniel chapter 11. Now, when Rome came, Rome attacked the king of the north and took over that territory in 65 BCB and took over the king of the south territory in 63 BCB. But however, it was the king of the north territory that was greater. And when Rome took over the territory of the king of the north, yes, my dear people, the term king of the north stuck with Rome. So Rome became known as the new king of the north. And this is clearly explained in Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. So Rome itself, we are told, will have 2 phases: pagan Rome and papal Rome. So pagan Rome would be called the king of the north, and that term will then go to papal Rome, the king of the north, which is the papacy ruling in the city of Rome. So by the time of the end 1798, the king of the north is the papacy. And the king of the south, we are told at that point in time, was socialism, communism, the French Revolution, Illuminism. All of that comes under the heading of the king of the south. Because the king of the south is basically known as the rabble, the godless rabble that denies God. Now, the king of the south proved that it is ancient Egypt. If we look at Daniel chapter 11 and we read verse 7 to verse 9, here is what we are told, I quote, "But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north." So notice someone is attacking the king of the north. Now this is in the time when you had the 2 remnants of Alexander's empire. The Seleucid Empire in the north and the Ptolemaic Empire in the south. So we are being told here that he shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north and shall deal against them and shall prevail. This is the king of the south attacking the king of the north. How do we know that? It continues. "And shall also carry captives into Egypt." Notice where into Egypt, their gods, that's the gods of the king of the north, with their princes and with their precious vessels of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. Did you see that? "So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom and shall return into his own land." End of quote. So we see here basically the king of the north and the king of the south. We see the king of the south here identified with Egypt. So Since the king of the south is identified with Egypt, there is something God said about Egypt and showed about Egypt, why Egypt is a symbol of the denial of Yahweh, why it is a symbol of atheism, which is spiritualistic gods and all sorts of rabble of corruption. If we look at Exodus chapter 5, verse 1 and verse 2, here is what we are told. And afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahweh, God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, Who is Yahweh, that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I know not Yahweh, neither will I let Israel go. That became a symbol of Egypt, denial of Yahweh and attacking and restricting God's people. Yes, my dear people. And so that is what Egypt in Daniel 11 is. It is a power that denies Yahweh, and also that power attacks God's people. This is what has been done by Illuminism and the New World Order. They have been attacking God's people by sodomite marriages, which they call same-sex marriages, by transgenderism, by pushing Islam and having laws they call Islamophobia existing, so that anybody that shows something is wrong with Islam could be jailed, as they seek to change the world society, de-Christianize the world society to make it become part of the New World Order. That whole rabble that does that is called the King of the South, and that is spearheaded by Illuminism, which is called today the New World Order or globalism, with all those global institutions that they have. And we are told that at the time of the end, the King of the South pushes against the King of the North, which is the papacy. But we are told the King of the North comes back and attacks the King of the South and destroys the King of the South. Yes, my dear people. This is telling us that globalism would be attacked by the papacy. But for globalism to be attacked by the papacy, we have to understand how the papacy and the King of the South is identified in the book of Revelation. In the book of Revelation, the King of the South is identified as the beast that came up out of the bottomless pit that attacked the two witnesses, the Old and the New Testament. Yes, my dear people, in Revelation chapter 11, verse 7 and 8, here is what we are told. And when they shall have finished their testimony, that is the Old and the New Testament, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit, that is the King of the South. That is what we call globalism today. Shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. What are we being told here? At the time, the Old and the New Testament was being prophesied in sackcloth and ashes. They prophesied in sackcloth and ashes for 1,260 years. That's when the Bible was banned by the papacy, and it was number 1 on the index of banned books by the papacy, the Bible. Only the papacy and the papal churches could have a Bible. Anybody else was not supposed to have a Bible in their hands. So all that time. But here is what we are told, is that means the Bible was being prophesied or was being preached in sackcloth and ashes under great distress and trouble for 1,260 years. There are many Protestant reformers that lost their lives for just producing the Bible and putting the Bible in the hands of the common man. So by the time the Bible is being preached in sackcloth and ashes, as it is coming to an end, this beast that comes out of the bottomless pit makes war against the Bible. We read again, and when they shall have finished their testimony, or are finishing their testimony according to the Greek, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. This is the French Revolution, where the Bible was banned in the French Revolution and burned in great heaps. We are told, and their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, that is France, which is spiritually called Sodom, because of the spirit of sodomy that comes from Illuminism, and Egypt, the same denial of Yahweh, where also our Lord was crucified. This is the French Revolution took place in a country where the Protestant Reformation was rejected. Christ was crucified afresh in France. Yes, my dear people. And here is what we are told here. This is the same king of the south that does this. But the king of the south went on to attack the papacy, because we are told that General Berthier, under orders from Napoleon, went into Rome and captured the Pope and abolished the papacy and set up something called the Republic of Rome. All this happened in 1798. Yes, my dear people. This is at the time of the end, when the king of the south pushed at the king of the north. This actually happened where the papacy was banned. The Pope was carried into France, and as he was very old, he is Pius VI, he died at a certain town. A new Pope was chosen later, but he never had the control over civil law that the Pope had, or that the papacy had, for 1,260 years. Their control over nations' laws to persecute people was no longer there, because it was abolished in the French Revolution. And this is what we are being told here in Revelation chapter 11. Now, Revelation chapter 17 tells us that the papacy, when the papacy gains control over civil law in the future, globalism or Illuminism will come back and attack the papacy again, and this time it will destroy all religion. It will destroy all false religion. It will destroy the papacy and the apostate Protestant evangelicals that are in league with the papacy, which the Bible identifies in Revelation chapter 17, verse 5. We are told, and upon her forehead was a name written, Babylon, mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And verse 6 says, I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. So notice this woman here is the same papal religion, but we're told she has daughters. Those are the apostate Protestant evangelicals that came from her, but follow her still in exalting Sunday as some special day, when the Bible tells us it is the seventh day, that is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy God. So we would have a unity between those apostate Protestant evangelicals and the papal religion, with the papacy in lead. This here, we are told, is the king of the north, the papacy. But you see, these Protestant evangelicals will work out of America. They will do miracles out of America. Revelation 13 tells us about this colored beast, and it tells us that this colored beast, which is the same beast that will be overthrown by the papacy, this beast is going to make war also against the saints of God. And we know Illuminism or globalism have been making war against the saints of God with sodomite marriages and sodomite immorality and transgenderism and a whole host of laws that attack Christianity to destroy Christianity. But Revelation 13 tells us of the United States of America that would arise and would influence the world. If we look at verse 11 of Revelation chapter 13, we are told this, I quote, And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. This power is the United States of America. This power will seek to influence the whole world to receive the mark of the beast. Apostate Protestant evangelicals will use the government of America to influence the whole world, to get people to enforce the mark of the beast. In order for that to happen, America must become great again. So great that it must become the majority powerful economic power, the most powerful military power, the most powerful influence in the world. And under Obama, America's influence declined greatly because Obama had belonged to the King of the South people. But now here we have a new president in the United States, President Donald Trump. He was converted by evangelicals. Through evangelicals' vote, he was able to, through a landslide, take power as President of the United States. Donald Trump has supported the apostate Protestant evangelicals. Now the media, CNN, MSNBC, or the mainstream media, MSM, this group is also a part of the King of the South. The mainstream media is part of Illuminism. They're the mouthpiece of Illuminism to get you and I to think what they want us to think, to kind of brainwash us to follow and accept the policies of the New World Order. So you find the media will hate Donald Trump terribly. They would lie, they would misrepresent Donald Trump, they will make many of us here in the Caribbean hate him as if he is such a racist and so on. And much of these things that they are saying are lies. They misrepresent his words and so on. So while we do not follow Donald Trump, we know that Donald Trump is being used to make America great again. So that when America is made great again, then America can be used by the apostate Protestant evangelicals using miracles to create an image to the beast and to enforce the mark of the beast according to Revelation chapter 13. Yes, my dear people. And this is what we are looking to see happen. America will be used to enforce the mark of the beast, and miracles will be used by the apostate Protestant evangelicals that will speak like a dragon or like the devil. When a religion speaks like a dragon, it simply means that the religion is using satanic spiritualism. In verse 12 of Revelation chapter 13, we are told of what this beast, this with the lamb-like horns, America does. We are told. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, that is the papal beast, and causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, the papal beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So while the king of the south pushed against the king of the north and wound the king of the north, abolishing the papacy would have returned, so his deadly wound would be healed. So that is the beast whose deadly wound was healed, the papal beast. This is identified in Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 to 3. And we are told that America will encourage people to make a system like the papal beast, where the government will enforce religion as the papacy does in its teachings and did in past history. Yes, my dear people. But for America to exercise such great power to cause the world to do that, America must become great again. That is why God allowed Donald Trump to come into power, to bring America great again. But to bring America great again, that the evangelicals would be able to take over with the papacy, you must understand that America must attack globalism. It must attack globalism in America, which is called the deep state by the media. So this is why Donald Trump has recently begun to take down agents of the Illuminati, agents of the deep state, agents that have been pushing globalism in different ways in the United States. So George Soros have been arrested. Hillary Clinton, the Podesta family, they have all come under indictment after Donald Trump had written an executive order and signed it into law to seize the property and to take down people that have harmed the country. And let me tell you this. Illuminism is involved in a large amount of sexual immorality, pedophile sex. In America alone, 400,000 children were missing in 1 year. Where did they all go? You see, a lot of children have been sacrificed. Their blood is being drunk. This is an actual thing. Even one of those movie actors, Keanu Reeves, clearly identified that these people get a high when they drink children's blood. And they have a science behind it. So a lot of children are being kidnapped. That's why so much children are missing all over the world. And what has happened is that they have found a lot of people in pedophile sex all over the world. No wonder why that Donald Trump has begun to take down the deep state or the Illuminati agents in America using the pedophile practices that they have done to do it and other treasonous activity they have done to do it. Right now, America has made an upscale in employment with a lot of Afro-Americans getting employment and a lot of people getting employment after restrictions have been moved from many of the laws that was placed there by Obama to stifle the middle class. And what has happened? America has begun to become great again. The military is being strengthened. The influence is growing. And through Donald Trump, America is pushing its way right through to get through. Now, what does this mean? That America must become great again. And now, the deep state, the Illuminati, globalism is being attacked by Donald Trump. And this is the reason why you can understand his actions. You can understand his actions because behind him, the daughters of Babylon are pushing to make him abolish globalism, especially in America, and push an agenda that will make the king of the north come back and sweep the nations. Yes, my dear people. And this is what will happen. We have tried to make you understand what is going on and what will happen. We try to make you get an understanding of it by the things we are saying to you. What is going on now, and the mainstream media is not reporting it. They're hiding a lot, but you can get it from the independent media. They're not telling you that Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, John McCain, senator, and a whole host of other senators, and a top amount of CEOs in a lot of these top businesses are being indicted. Their properties are being frozen. Many of them are being captured and sent to Guantanamo Bay, where the Marines, more than 1,000 Marines are to guard them. That even George Soros have been arrested and taken to Camp David, where he was held. A lot of these things are taking place, but the mainstream media is not telling you, because the mainstream media is the mouthpiece for the New World Order. That's why they seize upon everything Donald Trump says and do and spreads it in a way and lies and says he sees what he didn't say. But let me tell you this. The king of the north, papal religion, with the help of her daughters, the apostate Protestant evangelicals, are going to sweep the world. The future is theirs. They are the future. This current pope, which is a leftist pope, he will have to go. And a new pope will come. And that new pope will more be in harmony with the drive of the apostate Protestant evangelicals and Americanism, which is being used by Donald Trump to make America great again. And when America is great again, the prophecies of Revelation 13 can be fulfilled. That is what your Bible tells you. That's where we are going. So, in closing, if anyone wants this program, call us at 625-0446. 625-0446 will give you this program plus others that went before. And may God bless you until we meet again in Jesus' name.